Hey everyone, my name is Bentley Miller, and this is my capstone presentation. Um, Miller Corp was the name of the company that I decided to found. Um, I just want to give a little bit of background on myself, so I'll take a minute and give that to you. I've been in college since 2011. I have an Associates of Arts in General Studies from Metropolitan Community College that I received in 2014. I'm currently in my final semester of my Bachelor's of Science in Information Networking and Telecommunications. Thank God. I'm currently a system administrator for a small managed service provider in South Kansas City, and I'll be trying to find a job with Honeywell or Cerner or NAIC or one of the other many companies in Kansas City once I have my bachelor's degree. At my current company, we have to hire out any cabling work to one of the very few companies in the metro. My idea for this capstone was to provide a service to companies and MSPs alike. This started off being a cabling installation idea and quickly evolved into becoming a cabling and network administration provider, and then went back to just cabling due to lack of interest. So the first, oh, there's that slide, my bad. Yeah, cabling installation, network design, and network administration was the main idea that I had. The network design and cable installation is something that I continued forward with, but the network administration, I didn't really have any takers on that one. But the first major problem I ran into was capital. I had very little entering this and came out with about the same amount, if I'm honest. I had to change my plan of billing upon completion to billing for materials up front and the labor at the end. This was a very hard lesson that I learned very quickly. You need capital to start a business and be successful. It wasn't that I was spending too much on the wrong things, but there are a lot of costs that go into starting a company. That's something that I had no idea about when I began this. I was speaking with another business owner the other day, and she was telling me that during the first 2 years, she didn't take a salary. Her family lived on credit during that time and would have to borrow from the company to pay off those credit cards once a month. As someone who only has one income and many bills, this wouldn't be feasible for me to live. Due to budget constraints, I chose Zendesk as my ticketing system. I decided early that I needed to be able to organize my cabling gigs, and I chose Zendesk due to its simplicity and relatively low cost. I went with the lowest package as it was just me, and it ended up being $5 a month, which I found pretty cost effective. I appreciated Zendesk's basic analytics and the fact that it was very easy to set up. The more expensive version offers way more features that I could see myself needing down the line. But as of right now, since it's just me, I didn't really feel like it was all that useful. Um, if I did hire more employees, I would definitely have to look into buying a better version of Zendesk. Um, that's a different thing though. Um, yeah. So I spent quite a bit of time and effort on advertising and that the making sure to network. I'm not great at talking to strangers or even to myself. So it was very difficult for me to network. I was able to get a few contacts by networking, but was unable to hit my goal of 5 contracts before this was over. I was able to pick up some gigs on Craigslist, but they were low-paying, small projects. Due to more well-known companies in the area, it was hard to get contracts without pricing myself too low. I completed the contract for the office remodel about a week ago that I spoke about on the discussion boards. And so far, that customer is pleased with the cabling, and thankfully, it went smooth. During that job, I realized I have a fear of ladders, and will probably have to hire someone to help me complete the other two contracts if they require getting into the ceiling at all. I advertised my network administration service, but didn't really get any interest in it. I believe it's too close to what an MSP and an ISP do for people to really want that service, and I have no interest in starting a full MSP. Um, I think the network administration service would be great for a mid-sized company that has either an MSP or internal help desk that is looking for a networking team but don't want to hire employees for it. I'm probably pricing myself out of that market and not advertising it well enough. So if I ever did decide to continue on this little side project, I would definitely need to look into reworking it. I've learned many different lessons on this project. The main lesson is that I never want to own my own business or even be in charge. There's so many decisions to make, and as an um, as an indecisive person, it's extremely hard for me to make them. I didn't quite realize going into this that I would have to be the one responsible for managing the books, the payroll, contacts, any employees that I hired. I also failed to account for having to deal with angry clients and that smoothing the shortcomings over my employees would fall to me. Smoothing my own shortcomings over would fall to me as well. Um, I was woefully unprepared to deal with the conflict that comes along with anything client facing. The more information I gathered on owning a business, the less I wanted to proceed. I settled towards the end with running a one-woman show and picking up any cabling gigs I could manage on my own. I interviewed several people and even offered one a job, but in the end, the person decided to decline the offer because I couldn't offer enough compensation. And I decided not to hire anyone to assist me. Another hard lesson I learned is that it's really easy to lose a potential client or a job from either misspeaking or from low self-confidence or low confidence that you can get the job done. Um, the Cat 5 to Cat 6 VoIP project that I referenced on Blackboard would have been relatively simple to do, but I lost out on that job by not being confident in my ability to get it done in the requested time frame. They ended up going with one of the larger cabling companies that had multiple employees. Realizing that I needed to hire a second person or risk losing well-paying contracts was a harsh reality. I couldn't justify another employee as I wasn't bringing in enough money to pay them, but there was the possibility that I would never be able to hire another employee if I didn't have help. If I was older, had less debt, and had a higher credit score, I might have been able to get a small business loan that would have given me the capital to afford the costs of an employee or the cables or upfront. I think above all, I learned that I have a deep respect for anyone that can start their own business and keep it running and growing. I'm not cut out to own my own business, and I'm perfectly happy to continue working for another person. I learned that I want to do either backend server support and networks, um, backend network support as well, or help design and implement networks while being employed by somebody else. I have zero desire to ever be in charge of anything. I have zero confidence in my abilities to network and socialize. Um, but yeah, I think that owning your own business takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication, and I don't have any of the necessary qualifications to own my own business. And this project was great for making me realize that I will probably never be able to own my own business just because of everything that goes on with it. And it's overwhelming and stressful, and I have a million other things to do all the time, and I don't have the self-confidence to even try. Nor do I really want to be completely honest with you. And yeah, so that's Miller Corp. And after next week, the company will probably no longer exist once the contracts are completed. I've got one that I'm doing next week um, in the evening, and then one the week after that, and then I'm done. Because yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah, I hope everyone had a fantastic semester. Thank you for watching. Sorry, it's just a voiceover. I didn't feel like being on camera. Have a great day, everyone.